Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, it's because he gave me his headset because my headphones have an inadequate microphone.
Fair.
Anyway,
But
right, we're good.
if he wants to stream, though, he gets these back.
Fair.
We're gonna get you your parachute soon, maybe Friday,
Yes, I know.
with your own money. All right, we are now live. Let's get that stuff out.
Yeah, starting the get to all the people.
All right,
Got it.
begin the countdown timer. Show is underway.
If you want it, then you should have put a like on it.
If you want more,
Here we go.
subscribe. No, yeah.
There we go. There's the Book of Faces. Here's the X. Do they have an automatic thing for Blue Sky yet? No. Okay. Here we are. All right. All the socials have been socialized. Start priming the chat a little bit.
Good idea.
There we go. There we are. There we go.
Morality.
Hi, I use Stream as background audio. Thank you, Simon Dust 6453. I guess you have 2 new numbers now. Congratulations.
There we go.
And welcome. I can hear every word you're saying, so you better be extra nice. No.
Oh, I refuse.
Yeah. Now, just for that, we go into extra nasty. Here. Very good. I don't know if it's gonna make.
Wait a minute. How nasty are we getting? Do I have to like get permission from my wife?
Keep your clothes on. All right, here we go.
Okay, I was worried we were starting an Only Writer Brothers.
Nah. Wait, shut up. Tonight, Kamran Pasha joins us to give us the insider scoop on what to expect with Amazon's revival of Stargate, as well as whatever else is going on in Hollywood on a special Sunday edition of the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast. And Simon Dusk 6453 says, only fans win. You know, the way the economy's going, the way the world's going, welcome to the next best thing to the Writer Brothers OnlyFans, the Writer Brothers Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast. It is not the end. It is, of course, time to talk about pop culture, especially since we are not going to be here on Tuesday. We're taking that day off for you know, the observance of the holiday for American Thanksgiving. I guess we have to preface that because some people just decide that Christmas can start right after Halloween, and that's like okay for decorations and cookies and, you know, all that stuff. But no, the music does not come out until after I have eaten my Thanksgiving meal.
Agreed. No problem there. Keep Mariah Carey in cryogenic
Keep her in
storage.
this cryogenic snow globe until, yes, absolutely. That's exactly. Oh no, the music's gonna disappear before I get to it in time. What am I doing wrong? Everything. But yeah, we are currently waiting eagerly and patiently for Kamran to arrive this evening. A little bit of a last-minute throw together because we did get some insider intel that came in this week, and I mean, all right, everybody knows Stargate's coming back, so it's not like we're getting the jump on that. We're way behind on the times when it comes to Stargate's coming. But that's not all, you know, we're about to talk about. We're going to give you some insider information that our insider our Sparrow's counterpart.
Yeah, Sparrow's counterpart in Inside Amazon, I believe he's called Cardinal.
Cardinal. Yes, Cardinal.
Yeah.
Cardinal will, we'll go through some of what Cardinal had to say. Because, yeah, as we mentioned before, if this is your first time, please consider giving us the like. Please consider giving us the subscribe. Just stick around for 5 minutes. Listen to what we have to say. If you like it, great. Hang out. If you don't, please say why in the comments before we bounce. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, it helps us improve.
Helps us consider improving, or we just go, ha ha, lol, whatever, and move on. The thing is, what we've said it before, it'll probably repeat it until I finally get around to editing a clip of just what exactly this podcast is and what it's supposed to be. For the longest time, we started just as another pop culture review channel. We were doing deep dives on shows, which we've started to get back into. Then we kind of shifted to a bit of a pop culture news phase due to the situation necessitating such. And now we've just we finally are getting to a point where I have decided to finally accept reality the way it is. The copyright on this thing, on this channel, while I do have issues with the way, because we're not exactly trying to steal from anybody, at the same time, with how stringent it is, we are not putting out any copyrighted material on this channel unless it's reviewing a trailer or stuff that generally shouldn't incur a strike or piss off the algorithm. So what does
I do enjoy pissing off the algorithm.
I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed just doing my own thing and doing my own streams my way and all that, and there's a time and place for that, and it's on the TWB Gaming channel. Here, we have finally figured out that the purpose of this, that we started 3-4 years ago almost, and that we finally have kind of fallen into our groove, is we are information chasers. We are on the front lines. Both Corione and myself have a background in intelligence and sifting through information and getting the truth where it needs to be so that, you know, people with power can make decisions. We're not really doing... Well, actually, we kind of are. Our game has changed now. Instead of, you know, finding the information against adversaries, we now rely on insiders that come forward with information inside Hollywood. Now, yes, we are aware there's a lot of BS out there, and some days we're going to get information wrong. We are not journalists. We are not committed to a level of journalistic integrity, even though we have more journalistic integrity than Fox News and CNN combined. That's not our goal. Our goal is to bring, simply, the truth, and to give you the honest information that we have as we see it. That means that things could change. Yes, hello, Cosmic Vader, good to see you. That means things could change. That means that, you know, when it's the Jon Favreau's intention to not have the Acolyte make it to stream because it's bad, we trust that maybe that's a good idea. And did we get that wrong? Sort of. We did say and hope and pray that there would never be an Acolyte show. And given the further, this shit's done far more damage to Star Wars than Last Jedi could have ever dreamed of doing. Right. And it continues to do damage because Harvey Weinstein's casting couch is out there right now talking about how, oh, the racists got my show canceled. No, Leslie, you got your show canceled using dirty money, and you also just kind of went and I don't know,
did not do a good job. Like,
shat
look,
all over Star Wars like crappy fan fiction.
look, it boils down to this, right? Quality will show through.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, we were reporting the information that we had, that the individual who refers to himself as Sparrow was under the distinct impression that this wasn't, was under the impression that they did not believe it was being made any further. And as the situation on the ground changed, they reported that this was happening, but it was being done kind of behind closed doors and in kind of a very secret way. And they also eventually reported that, yes, it's happening, but that nobody was happy about it. So, I mean, what we reported was true, that this is what Sparrow was saying. We weren't saying it ourselves. That being said, hey, we didn't want it there. It turned out to be there. So we owned our part of that component.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get more honest than the way we report things.
Yeah. Cosmic Vader says, no one should be bound to being a journalist to be truthful, though. And yes, I agree. And that's just it. We are not... what I mean by that with journalistic integrity is that it's obviously lost. Journalists are supposed to go above and beyond in reporting factual, truthful information without any emotional bias one way or the other. Now, that's obviously a joke. In today's times, even the freaking local news is all the same shit disseminated from the 6 companies at the top, and they all sound the same, and they all try to tug at your heartstrings with stuff, and they also try to make the world seem worse than it is. They also try to make the world seem better than it is. It doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, we're not that. We are just what is in the moment. What are we getting? What is happening now? We have reason to believe that maybe, whether through this channel or many of the others that have spread Kamran's information out, that in reporting the information, things change. You see, Hollywood executives, while out of touch with a lot of reality, at the end of the day, they like their money. And when the money isn't going anywhere, they look for other places, other people who are talking about where they're spending their money. And, well, on this channel, we talk about where we stream and what shows we watch. We are very much... well, yeah, we're also opinion peddlers when it comes to our reviews of our content. At the end of the day, what you're going to get is our honest truth. You're going to get this information. Instead of us bringing you the tactical picture of everything, we're going to bring you the live picture, the what's happening now. That's what we are when it comes to the Entertainment Information Intelligence podcast. We are bringing you the information as it currently sits every Tuesday.
Yeah, and I mean, and our opinions on that information and where we potentially think a story could go.
Yeah. Simon Does 64 says, I like money too. Oh, bro, we should hang out sometime.
Yeah.
Cosmic Vader says, there's also the distinction that a journalist investigates while a reporter just reports. Right. I mean, there is also those. Yes, absolutely.
And I mean, we do our best to look deeper into the stories as we can. We're not always going to get our opinion pieces on them right, but we're going to give you the information as best we get it.
Absolutely. Always. Always. All right. Kamran seems to be running a little bit late. Not sure where, but that's perfectly
I messaged
fine.
him. Why don't we start taking a look at some of the news
Absolutely.
items?
So we can get. I was actually going to go straight to the insider knowledge, so then we can have some notes ready to go with Kamran's post. Unless we want to do it with him here.
Let's do that with him here, because
Okay.
that's a cool one to do.
So
with
there's
him.
there's our little tease of that. Getting into the news, we're going to take a quick look at what's coming to Netflix in November of we're halfway through November. Let's not do that one. Oh geez. Oh, this one again. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of crap that maybe shouldn't be brought back, Gremlins franchise gets new life in 2027. Oh boy. Oh wait, this one has been updated since November. Oh, okay, so we are returning to this story now. I believe we did report on this earlier. A few weeks ago, we said that I think we were in the maybe stage, and I think we made
this is now we're in the confirmed stage that this is happening.
Yeah. Thursday, November 6th, Warner Bros. Announced an earnings call that the third Gremlins movie, a sequel to 1990's Gremlins 2, The New Batch, for release on November 19th, 2027. So there it is. It's now official. Filmmaking duo Zach Lipovsky and Adam Stein, who directed May's horror hit Final Destination Bloodlines, are teaming up with the series' original screenwriter Chris Columbus for the threequel. Steven Spielberg, who executive produced the original Gremlins movie, is returning to executive produce and direct. Columbus, 67, will also produce the movie alongside Kristen McCosco, Krieger, Holly Berrio, Michael Baranthan, and Mark Radcliffe. Well,
Okay, so I'm glad they got Chris Columbus on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? What I'm trying to figure out is kind of twofold. One, are they going to carry on from the original timeline? Like, is this going to be like, a few hours or years later?
Yeah.
Right? Or is this going to be the 40 years almost later since this began?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good question. A few titles are as beloved and iconic as Gremlins, and we're beyond excited to bring it back for both lifelong fans and a new generation, Warner Bros. President of Development and Production Jesse Ehrman said in a statement. It's a privilege to be working alongside Steven, Chris, and the entire creative team, and we look forward to audiences experiencing the next installment of the magic, mayhem, and heart of Gremlins on the big screen in 2027. Columbus first broke out in Hollywood as the writer behind 1984's Gremlins, which famously followed lead character Billy Peltzer, Zach Galligan, after he purchases a small furry creature named Gizmo. I'm sure you've all seen the movie. I'm filled with a tremendous surge of inspiration and passion as I embark on this cinematic journey, Columbus told The Hollywood Reporter on November 6th. It's an honor to reunite with Steven Spielberg and Warner Bros. As we bring this latest chapter of Gremlins to a brand new generation of moviegoers who will experience all the thrills of this grand adventure on the big screen. No casting announcements have been made. Gremlins 3 is scheduled November 19th, 2027. Well, that's, I don't know. I liked the first one. It's an interesting horror flick, but I'm really not so sure how I felt about.
I mean, I enjoyed the second one a fair bit. Like, I thought it was a fun way to do the second one, where they kind of went, okay, let's take the original concept and, play with it a little bit, change up the bad guys a little bit. That was good, right? It moves it ahead, right? Like, it moves it along. I think
we now joining us, coming into the discussion and the stage, live from Hollywood, California, it's Mr. Kamran Pasha.
Hi, guys. I'm sorry for being a little late. I got stuck outside in lovely Santa Monica. Here's the beautiful promenade. I thought I could get home in time, but I did not, so I hope it's okay that I'm calling in.
Yeah, what?
It's all good.
I'm excited to, one day do a show from Duval Street in the near future, so I get it. It's awesome. It looks like a really nice evening. What's the weather like for you?
Weather's okay. It's like in the mid-60s, which is chilly in LA. It's chilly in Los Angeles. It's the mid-60s, but that's fine. But this is near where I live. If any of you don't know Santa Monica, this is the promenade, the 3rd Street Promenade, which is this outdoor sort of shopping area, place where a lot of musicians busk. It's a very fun area, very family oriented. There's always some random religious preacher preaching something here. And it's a lot like sort of some of the squares in New York City, like parts of Greenwich Village, like Washington Square Park kind of thing, but a little more upscale than that. And and so I'm out here, and so I'm sorry that I missed a part of the thing. What have you all been discussing?
Well,
just the return of Gremlins to the big screen in 2027.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds exciting to me. We've got some of the original people involved. The original writer, who's gone off himself to become a very big director, is involved in this. And, some people on my Patreon have expressed sort of, lack of hope that it's going to work, but I think it will. I think that everyone involved seems to have the right intentions.
Yeah.
Well, now, and this is my question. I'm very curious what you would do here, because I can see two ways forward for this franchise. They either pick up very shortly after the last movie, or they keep the timeline intact, and it's 40 years now since the initial Gremlins movie.
Yeah.
what do you as a writer, where would you want to go with it?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think the reality is it's been a couple of generations, right? Almost, right? And amazingly, some of the original fans are grandparents now, right? Or at
Right,
least
that's
approaching
true.
that stage. And so I think we should presume that the Generation Z doesn't know anything about Gremlins. It hasn't really kept up in popular culture, right? They don't really know what it's about. They don't know the rules of it. They don't know how any of this gizmo and how that works, right? I think they will fall in love with it if introduced to it properly. So I think what we need is I think we need a film that really reestablishes what the rules of the Gremlins are, how they get created, and what are their weaknesses. So essentially, it's kind of like what I think they did with this Jurassic World series, where they essentially reintroduced the Jurassic Park mythos to a young generation that didn't understand any of it or didn't know any of it, right? And I think that's what you need to do this. I think you need to essentially assume that nobody knows anything about Gremlins, and even if you bring back original characters, you're gonna have to have a little bit of a reset with regard to information.
Fair enough. I was initially thinking that the way to do it would be have the original handler for Gizmo now have grandchildren and be passing Gizmo on to kind of take care of this, to be taken care of by a new kid.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
the
that's a
kid
good way
making
to
the same
explain the
mistakes.
rules. That's
Yeah.
a good way to. That's kind of passing of the torch to explain the rules of the world and of these creatures is an effective way to do it. I'm always a good believer in passing the torch, which was not done in Star Wars, sadly. But but there's been more of an awareness of the passing the torch kind of thing. There was a movie that people didn't really see, completely different genre, but it was Doctor Sleep, which was the sequel to The Shining, right?
Yes.
And I actually liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I mean, obviously, it's not at the level of The Shining, and I don't think anyone's trying to recreate that level. But what it did was, I thought it very effectively, at least in the sense of the film story itself, passed on the torch of Danny, who had the shine, to a child who's got the shine, and established the mythology and expanded it. I don't think they're going to continue that because I just don't think that movie was successful commercially enough for them to do that. But that was an example of an effective transferring of the torch in mythology.
Yeah, I think the Ghostbusters did a pretty adequate job of it too.
Yeah.
All right.
The Ghostbusters did a very good job.
I do appreciate, guys, the input, but we are here, of course. The main theme of tonight's event is to discuss what is essentially to H. Marie, what is, Star Wars and Star Trek to me, and that is the triumphant return of Stargate. Of course,
yeah.
And now, of course, as we've said, everybody's heard about it. It's coming back. We all know it. All right, that's it. So what have we got to bring tonight? Well, we've got some of the inside stuff from Cardinal.
For those who don't know, I was able to be in touch with, I've got sources that are spread out at different studios, really nice people, and this is a source that hasn't been very active to me, but every time have come through with amazing information. I think this is essentially the second time I've heard from them, and the first time, we gave them the the code name Cardinal. I don't think of my sources, bird names, but Cardinal, and I heard the last time I really heard from them, which was really the first time I heard from them, was I think like May of this year, so it's a few months back, where if you recall, Amazon MGM had the surprise departure of the studio head,
right,
and and a new regime being put into place. And this source came through with intel that even though the official word was she's stepping down to pursue other opportunities, that what I kind of intuited, that she had been fired, right? And that she had been removed because she essentially mismanaged Amazon and overpaid for a lot of projects that didn't succeed, such as the Rings of Power, which we're going to talk a little bit about here, because there are some things they're planning to do that are related to the Rings of Power. Hopefully, they're going to do it more effectively. But so that source came in, and also in that May article that I published on my Patreon, that source also revealed that there were plans to relaunch Stargate. And then, I kind of forgot that they had told me that until Stargate several months later now just got announced. And then they came back into the fray a couple of, essentially 24 hours after the announcement, with a whole slew of new information that I didn't have, that most of it, which has not yet been confirmed, but feels very probable.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think some of the standouts from it are, we'll just start. So The plot being for the pilot is going to be a new series that will follow what happens after the disclosure of the Stargate program and the alien threat has been made public. So spoilers for those who haven't watched SG1. Of course, that's me.
But what it is it's actually a smart thing to do, because we're at a stage now where there has been some level of disclosure. With New York Times is writing about UAPs, as they're now called. On the front page of the New York Times, and now there's disclosures of the Pentagon having its secret offices that are not that secret if it's on the front page of the New York Times, right? So we're at that stage where there's now a whole, in many ways lags behind the public. I mean, when it hit the front page of the New York Times, people just shrugged, because by this time everyone kind of believes that UFOs, UAPs, aliens are part of reality, and the government knows about it. I mean, the X-Files was 30 years ahead of this, right? So that's already, I guess the idea is that disclosure happens when you no longer need it, right? And so people just shrug, say, "Oh, wow, big deal." So, there's videos of the Pentagon showing of UAPs that go faster than technology can explain, right? Okay, whatever, we're fine with it.
Yeah, it's kind of a right?
Yeah, exactly. But the idea is that now the Stargate people, wisely, the producers of Stargate, the writers, are essentially taking where we are in our world, where there are disclosures of what appear to be non-human technologies in use in the skies, right? Then now Stargate is going to go, because in the original series there were three of them, and there were some animated spin-offs and other things. This was hidden to the idea that there was a Stargate that connected different planets in the universe and different alien races was purely a military secret. So because it was a military team with sort of some scientists brought on board, but it was kept generally quiet from the public, right? And now they're embracing the idea that the general public has been told that there are alien races, that we possess, I guess, ability to travel to these places, and some of them are hostile. So with that in mind, the new series is going to enter into a world where the general public now is aware that Stargate exists.
And I mean, that opens up some very interesting locations and ideas for storytelling, right? Like, what if we wind up with, people wanting to start an off-world colony, and that colony gets in trouble, so they have to send a team to investigate what's going on with that colony? Or, maybe that colony wants to break away from Earth and be like, no, we want to do our own thing. There's a lot of opportunities to play with the idea of a larger society understanding the gate existing.
Yeah.
And also on a practical level, just going back to the Gremlins example, this kind of scenario sets up an easy resetting of the rules for people who don't know it, because now that the civilians are being told about it, what a great way to explain the rules of Stargate and the Glawuld and all these different races by having civilian characters going, so what is the Stargate? How does it work? Who are these alien species? What are we dealing with here? And then you explain to the character without seeming like it's just expository, because the character needs to understand it. And then by that, the new audience can understand it.
Yeah. As somebody who has yet to play a single second of any of the Fallout games, I'm working on it. I'm going to get to it. Don't worry. I absolutely love the Fallout TV series. And I think I bring that up because another line you had in here was Cardinal says the intent is to honor the established mythos, but also make the series approachable to newbies. As a Fallout fanboy now, like, nothing to really do with that universe, churned, oh my gosh, this is the greatest show ever made, I want more, can't wait for December 17th. That's an encouraging line to hear, because I think that's one of the strongest things with Fallout, because now, they got me a new fan that's now interested to explore the universe. So I agree. I think the smart thing is to set this new series a little bit ahead. Now we're going to, focus on, okay, now how do we deal with an Earth that's going to be exposed to this? And you're right. It's a great opportunity to just have a bunch of YouTube vloggers arguing over, the facts of Stargate like we don't already. Well, I mean, I don't entirely.
Well, I mean, I think it would be hilarious in this if they introduce the Goa'uld, which are basically the symbiotic, parasitic really life form that kind of takes over its host and tries to rule the galaxy.
Horrible.
Yeah, right. Well, I was thinking how great would it be to see the YouTube talking heads trying to figure out how to tell if somebody's been replaced by a Gould or what have you.
No, you're a Gould.
Like, yeah, exactly, right? Like, that'd be a hilarious
then
moment,
they may
right?
explore the, invasion of the body snatchers paranoia that the existence of this parasitic alien race will then instill in people. That would certainly be storylines I would explore if I were a writer on the show. So,
yeah. I mean, and then, in the story, the little gray aliens were masquerading as the Norse gods throughout history. But near the end of the series, they wound up getting wiped out, so they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So it might be hilarious to have the Greys. Yeah, they were actually this race that was pretending to be, the Viking gods, but they're gone now, and everyone being like, are they gone? Right?
Yeah,
there could be a lot of room for interesting discussions that could generate from the public kind of getting access to this knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, and again, part of the disclosure world we've been in is, the top show on History Channel for the last 15 years has been Ancient Aliens, right? And,
right.
And so at this point, the idea, I mean, think about it, the original Stargate movie from, what, it was like 1994, is like
94.
31 years ago, right?
Yeah.
That movie was essentially Ancient Aliens. The whole idea of it was that the Glowwolves had created the pyramids and, as essentially docking stations for their ships, right?
Yeah.
And that so that's just building on that mythos, which hadn't been seen really in movies, and now it's become part of passe in culture.
Man, Giorgio would be impossible to live with after a disclosure like that, wouldn't he?
I may have to do a compare and contrast now, because it sounds like you guys just made the insinuation that Ancient Aliens is just Stargate scripts slightly retooled and adjusted to appear like crazy conspiracy tinfoil hat theories, which... Yeah, well, that could work.
Well, I love the show. I'm addicted to the show. The reason I love it is it's a modern version of that In Search Of show with Leonard Nimoy when I was a kid, right? Where you get to see all these ancient mysteries. And, the presumption and everything is, was it aliens with the origin of the mystery? To me, it's just learning this mysterious thing that can't be explained. Like, this island with monolithic things that can't be recreated in the middle of the Mediterranean that the locals believe were built by giants. And then the narrative goes, but was it aliens? I don't really care whether it was ancient aliens. I'm more interested in discovering about these monoliths that can't be explained.
Yeah,
the
I
mysteries
agree.
of the universe.
That's why I love like Unexplained with Shatner, and then there's that other one with Aykroyd, and I think Danny Trejo did one recently too. But the best UFO, I think, if I'm remembering the title, I think it's called Undisclosed. And it's a very that's definitely a good one worth checking out. But now back to the Stargate. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, please. And I have to ask for forgiveness. I have to start heading back home in about 15 minutes. So if we can get through some of the article by then.
Yeah, let's
then I can
hit the
talk
article
while I'm walking. But all right.
Yeah. So the next big piece is the budget. All right, I'm just going to read this whole block real quick. This is the big news. Amazon MGM is planning to throw massive amounts of money into the series. We are talking about the scale of the Rings of Power show, which is reported to have been made for between $750 million to $1 billion per season. Much of that money will be spent on VFX in order to make the show visually stunning on a level that is more modestly budgeted as predecessors could never have imagined. The intent here is to create a space epic that defines this generation. So that...
that's the similarity to Amazon. Amazon has this kind of cash, because you need to understand, Amazon television is just a loss leader for them. They don't care. Their business is selling Prime subscriptions and their general, commissions off of selling their products, on Amazon, and their slave labor and all that, right? So that's their economics, right? And so they to them, TV is just like Apple. It's a way to advertise their other services. It's a way to advertise their other services, their other product, right? And to them, and because of their massive global monopoly, they have this. They're more than enough money to throw $1 billion into a TV show and not feel the pinch of that, right? But unfortunately, in my opinion, Rings of Power was not an effectively done show, and I think really was a wasted opportunity, resource, and it's even more sad with the kind of resources that were thrown at it. Unfortunately, they didn't throw the resources at putting together a writing team with any experience. Literally, the creators of the show. My writer's assistant has more experience. If you go to their IMDb, literally the creators of the show have no credits except for Return of the Rings of Power. They have no credits. Their first credit before they got $1 billion was the show. That's the show, right? That's their first credit, right? And so Jen Salke who was removed from power, made those kinds of decisions, right? Which, are incomprehensible even to Hollywood people. Like, why these people? And, then you realize those two guys were proteges of J.J. Abrams, who she was trying to keep a relationship with. So she threw out that money to keep her own private, because I'm sure she's fine now, even though she's left the studio. She has a lot of people who owe her literally billions of dollars, and so her career will be fine wherever she goes, because there's a lot of people who have obligations to her. But it didn't serve the story. And the difference in this one, I hope, is that they've already put together a team of very accomplished writers. I mean,
Yep.
it's all the original people returning. The showrunner is Martin Garrow, who started off on Stargate Atlantis. I understand he was a consultant on the original show. He's a science fiction. He's like a science guy, so he started as a consultant on Stargate SG-1. And then he was formally hired to be on staff on Atlantis. And then he went off to his credit to become a successful showrunner of his own. That TV show Blind Spot, if you remember that show,
Yeah,
Blind
that was
Spot.
pretty good.
Yeah, I was, and she was really lovely, and that was his show, right? And he's a fellow Canadian. I'm sure you'll be happy to see that. And
Always.
and so he's succeeded very much on his own as a showrunner. So now he's returning, and then they're bringing back. My understanding is they're bringing back Roland Emmerich, who was the director and co-writer of the film, the other co-writer, and so they're coming on board as consultants to make sure this fits the original mythos they developed in the '94 film. And then, my understanding is they're going to be bringing back a lot of the original writing staffs from these shows. So they're already putting their focus on the right thing, which is bringing together the original people from the shows who love the shows and made this correctly, rather than random people that you're like, oh, what, these guys, right? And so that, but and then it looks like the money, at least you can explain where it's supposed. Because I still don't know where that $1 billion went on Rings of Power. I didn't see it on screen.
Definitely not to the
I
show.
don't know, what is it?
I'm guessing it went into some very deep pockets, but
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of money laundering where just $100 million goes on the screen and $900 million disappears, right? Into Hollywood accounting, right? You don't know where it goes, right? A lot of consultants getting a lot of consulting money, $50 million each for reasons you don't know, right? And so so a lot of shady accounting. But I'm hoping that, at least my source said, that the intention is to throw that money primarily into VFX. One example, which I didn't put in the article, but that they weren't able to really show on the original series, like in the movie they showed the base ship, the mothership, right? Which was which gets blown up at the end, right? But but they don't really have the money to show those kinds of motherships in the series. And so now they have the money to show massive epic motherships that are little worlds of their own from the aliens. So you're going to be spending it on that kind of physical creation.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome, right?
Yeah, no,
I mean, the one of the things that was kind of lacking for a good number of seasons of SG-1 was the kind of epic space battles that we were hoping for.
Sure.
They did it once in Atlantis as like a season finale on the season that they thought they were going to get canceled on. So
they just threw their money into that. Yeah.
So the fact that they're now getting the chance to throw money at special effects like that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the hope. Right now, again, this new team seems to be smart, and that's giving me hope. They seem to be smartly handling James Bond, because they're going back to what I'd hoped for. Even though they may not be setting it in the 50s, they are going back to a James Bond origin story of him as a commander in the British Navy, right? So
Yeah.
they're essentially going to reset it to an origin story, which is what I think they need to do now if they're going to be in this new format. And so it seems this new team that has replaced the previous regime is approaching the vast resources they have strategically, which is good, because I think, even if Amazon can burn the money, it can't burn the goodwill. Like, people were very unhappy with Rings of Power, and that's not the kind of buzz it wants. It wants exciting buzz saying Amazon knows what it's doing. Subscribe to Amazon Prime, right? It doesn't want the buzz of people being unhappy.
Yeah. So it looks like 5 to 7 seasons is what they're hoping for, with 8 to 10 episodes. And then, let's see, returning stars. Longtime fans will be happy to know the goal is to have most of the main characters from earlier shows, as well as reoccurring characters from the new series. This includes Jason Momoa, who's a part of Atlantis. Sadly, it looks like Richard Dean Anderson might not return. Well, I got something to consider for that, real quick.
Okay, please. And I got to start moving we got the religious preachers now getting on their loudspeakers, so it's hard.
Yeah, go for it.
Check it out. But please, so is this Mr. Dean Anderson, did he have something? Did he put out something recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's nice. Like 25 years later, I'm brought to tears by this man who I never would have met, and therefore never met his mother. But that's what Stargate did for me. It brought me a friend like Brad, and more his mother. Let's be honest. But thank you, every man jack of you. Yeah, thanks. Let's do it again sometime. And
Let's do it again sometime.
Well, that's hopeful. Like I said, I mean, my source said that, it doesn't look like he's in the immediate plan. Apparently, the current pilot script has him written off as a retired character.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he can't come back. I mean, just maybe he's just not available, or he wasn't available, couldn't commit to it when they were writing the script.
Or they just, didn't want to assume that he would be. And I think what it is, so what I think happened is this is him seeing the fan response. And I think he's probably considering coming out of retirement, and how awesome just that would be the cherry on the top. Because, I mean, we got Patrick Stewart as Picard back on the Enterprise, which was awesome. And so, I mean, even if he just shows up as a guest star in 2 or 3 episodes, I think that's probably the reuniting moment that a lot of fans will enjoy. And this, of course, coming from somebody who's only still in the first season. Now I've got to really start plowing through the rest of SG1. But
where can I watch SG1 again? I mean, is it on Amazon?
It is on Prime.
It is on Prime.
It's on Prime. So do I get that with my Prime subscription, or I have to buy like season 1 kind of thing?
No, I think you get it with your Prime subscription.
We're watching it right now.
I'll watch it again. I haven't seen it in a long time. It was a good show.
I mean, I do know that Christopher Judd, the individual that plays Teal'c in the series, is actually working for Amazon right now on God of War.
That's right.
So it's entirely possible that they're just going to go, well, since you're here, come over and record a couple of scenes.
Hey, buddy. Sorry to do this to you. Yeah, so your 6-hour workday is now 14. Congratulations.
Right.
So, no, that is...
I have to walk down this dark path here because, I escaped the religious preachers, but now there's a bunch of very loud buskers over there blasting music. So you won't be able to hear me. So I'm going to go down this sort of shady, unknown path here. So if anything bad happens, call the cops.
We've got it. We've got it live, and we know where. Yeah. Let's hopefully Cameron gets home safe. But hey, you're on your phone talking to friends. That's usually the first thing to do in a sketchy part of town.
Exactly.
Make sure you have contact. So we will know if you're out there. We know what happens.
I think there's a lot of good opportunities out there. I think Amanda Tapping is still in the industry. Pretty clearly. Michael Shanks apparently has issued a statement that he's thrilled that they're back. That the Stargate universe is back on the air.
Yep.
So it seems like everybody who's been a major part of the series is excited for it to come back. That's always a good sign because they're going to get more information than we are going to get.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, it looks like, everyone seems to be in love with this franchise. I mean, one never knows what the dynamics on a show were, whether all the actors like each other, but to generally get the impression that people seem to be excited to have been part of this world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've heard nothing but mostly good things from the Stargate fan base. I mean, any fans I've met, in person that are like, oh yeah, I'm really big into Stargate. Of course, at the time, I've only just recently started to get into it because I was like, I'm Star Wars, Star Trek, and for whatever reason had to be elitist about that for the longest time. But now, I mean, what a perfect time to get caught up on the universe for those that feel you gotta get, because I think it'll be... Amazon has proven that they can bring in new fans to establish lore.
Sure.
They did it with they did it very well with, like I said, Fallout. But I don't know if I mentioned I like Fallout.
I'm excited for this, if only because I think the best part about Stargate is that gate operates as a opportunity to basically do a Twilight Zone episode of the week sort of mentality where you can take it anywhere, right?
Oh man,
you want to tell a story in Victorian London? Well, there's a world that's just how things are, right?
So, H. Marie, what do you think of all this? Being the biggest or second, I don't know, almost as big a Stargate fan or as big a Stargate fan as Corione in the room?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I know you guys were talking about earlier how it gives options to go to other worlds. I actually remember there was an episode where they went to another world where they told their civilization that there was aliens and they used the Stargate to like go to work, and they found a way to replicate the technology and used it basically as like a portal device. And I'm like, well, that didn't end well for them, so hopefully it doesn't, go the same way for this particular show. But regardless, I'm super excited. I love Stargate. I cannot wait to get PD over here into the rest of the series. I've been begging him to watch more, and I think he might finally watch the rest of it with me now.
Absolutely. And that's the one thing I wanted to say again, too, was that for a first season, Stargate comes in strong out of the gate. Like, when you watch Next Generation or, any of the older Star Treks, it's like that first season's a little rough. Any of the Star
Next
Trek
Generation
series.
was a really weak rollout. They figured it out with time.
Yeah.
But but the good Stargate also had the benefit. I mean, I don't know, Next Generation had the benefit of Star Trek, but that was several decades before. The Stargate had the benefit of having this movie relatively still fresh in people's minds, and jumping with it. So actually, I'm gonna need to step away from the screen for about 5 minutes. I'll come back to continue discussion. I just need to get into let's just say a safer area. So hold on a second, all right? I'll be back shortly. All right, guys.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
So,
all right. So,
no, I think, he's just going to be a minute or two.
Hopefully. So, we'll just. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, I'm excited for this. I think there's a lot of places they can take it. I think the way they've ended a few of the two at least of the 3 series that have come out, allow for some interesting storytelling and myth making along the way. I'm very curious if they're going to touch on. So SG-1, they ended it in a really good place where a lot of the plot hooks, except for a very specific few, had been wrapped up. Atlantis, they ended it with it like in an interesting place where they could have, in theory, had more adventures. And Stargate Universe, they kind of left the ending completely open. So there's a lot of potential here to wrap up previous sequences and to bring some of the actors from those series back to help wrap up some of those subplots. I think also there's it's a really, really good space to do some of the potentially open up new doors, right?
Yeah. So why do you like Stargate?
I think for me, part of it is I think there's 3 pieces to it. The first one is the gate opens up an endless possibility of storytelling. We can have stories set in any time frame, in any alien world, in any unusual environment we want, and get something fun and constructive out of it. I think the other piece of it is I like the idea that they are always respectful of mythologies, but put their own twist on them. And I think the third one, which really hits deep at home for me, and this is what it feels like, is the central theme of Stargate to me is to think critically about your beliefs. And if you are not comfortable with how your beliefs are moving forward, you can choose to believe otherwise. You can choose to believe what you feel is right and what you're aligned with ethically, and still be a good person and still not be wrong, right? We see this play out time and time again where, for example, the one of the species that they run into, the Jaffa, wind up breaking away from their previous masters and embracing a philosophy based on their own beliefs in their ability to affect change in their universe. We see others decide to abandon false gods in favor of, a belief in each other. And when we run into a group that is a very, very good argument that they actually are gods, the team and the groups we've seen grow up with this go, okay, you may be gods, but you're not good ones, and we're going to stick to believing in the inherent goodness of people and the universe and those who have gone before us. And that's an interesting place to put things. And I think that's a wonderful sentiment to carry forward.
Yeah. H. Marie, same question.
Hey, there we go. Now you can hear me. I love it for the fact that it explores so many different cultures and religions and gives it a unique take on it, but also the amount of technology that they somehow managed to come up with is just, I don't know. I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to spoil it, but you guys already kind of spoiled the Greys for him, so, but it is what it is. I can't wait to do more of a review when he's actually seen more of the show.
Oh yeah.
And then I don't feel like I'm giving spoilers.
We may have to just have that be our show. I don't know. We still got to get back to DS9 though and finish that one up, and then come back to it again in 5 years and do it faster. But that's that's later on down the line. All right. While we wait for Kamran to hopefully come back, hopefully he makes. Anyway, box office: Wicked for Good opens to record-smashing 150 million in the U.S., 226 million globally. What? I've heard some things about this, but like, I guess they made another Wicked movie already?
Yeah, so this is, so they broke the original movie, or the original play, into 2 movies.
Oh, okay.
So the first one was a part 1. This is the second half.
Oh, okay. Okay. Witches of Oz are making magic at the box office. Universal's Thanksgiving tentpole Wicked for Good opened to a record-smashing $150 million in North America and $226 million worldwide after topping Friday's North American chart with a massive $68.7 million from 4,115 theaters. Audiences are more than embracing the pick, giving it a cinema score and a glowing 95% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. In an array of exit numbers on ComScore, kids in particular were enthralled. Overseas, it likewise opened to a record-busting $76 million from 78 markets for a global start of $226 million. Wicked for Good is the second title. Oh, well, there you go. And filmmaker John M. Chu's ambitious big-screen adaptation of the iconic Broadway musical and book about the untold story of the Witches of Oz. Ariana Grande stars as Glinda and the Good Witch, and Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. Elphaba.
Yep.
The Wicked Witch of the West. Cast also includes Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh. Oh, well, I mean, there's the reason why people showed up. But anyway, well, that's pretty good. I mean, good for the movie, especially given all the controversial and silly publicity that's followed it, with the accusations of fans wanting something a little more iconic to the original iconic poster, and I guess some people taking that a little too personally. But otherwise, hey, you know what? If you're a fan of Wicked, I guess you should probably go check it out. If you're not, sorry to have wasted your time.
Well, I mean, I think it is interesting that it made this much money.
I actually agree. That is kind of
like the series or the movie or what have you, or not. The fact that it's turning out these kind of numbers for a musical, no less, I think is going to wind up giving Hollywood the impression that musicals are back and are here to stay for a little while. I think we can expect a few more adaptations in the near future.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I just... Did I get ahead of myself? No, I did. I got ahead of myself. I was thinking in the future. Sorry. Let's change articles.
Sure.
HBO's big plan here is to be... HBO Max's big plan is to be HBO again. You guys remember when they were gonna change it, and they all just, I think, let's see, when did they did that change? I think we had just started this podcast.
Yeah.
We had literally just started. I'd have to go back and look at it. Because I just, we said that this was stupid. This was just as dumb as the time. This is just, it's so dumb to just, it's the time that Elon bought X and changed it to X, when he should have just kept it as Twitter. Like, rebranding, marketing, that was like anti-marketing.
Yeah.
And so, again, with this one, it's the same situation. It was the same, we said this too, but like, HBO, everyone knows that iconic, HBO, the freaking thing comes on, and then the Game of Thrones theme comes on right after. Everyone recognizes that. That was like, because of Game of Thrones, that became far more iconic.
Well, I mean, even I would argue that it really started with The Sopranos, right? Where they kind of entered that modern age of putting together really high quality dramas that they didn't do a lot of them, but when they did, they were really good. And, I think it's silly to try to be everything to everyone and split out those budgets up instead of keeping it like big budget, tight, movie budget episodic TV kind of thing, where I may only get like 3 or 4 series a season or like a year, but those 3 or 4 shows are really good, right?
Yeah. A funny thing happened over the course of the streaming wars. As the end goal of the tech and media companies became global TV domination, the niches and specialties of many companies faded away. That was certainly true at Warner Bros. Discovery, which inherited HBO and HBO Max and rejured them into Max. Why? Well, as WBD streaming chief JB whatever said at the time, while HBO Max Discovery Plus offered something for some people, Max will have a broad array of quality choices for everybody. The result was that HBO, the most premium of premium TV companies, became absorbed into something that was meant to be a Netflix killer. As HBO Max CEO Casey Bloys told reporters November 20th in the company's Hudson Yards offices, that ended up being a fool's errand. To Netflix's credit, as the first mover, they have become a utility for consumers, Bloys said. In retrospect, we could all see that streaming industry's race for volume years ago found many brands losing their identity. Oh my gosh, this idiot isn't even paying attention to the fact that that's not what killed your thing, man. The reason you guys had an identity crisis is because you took the powerhouse name of HBO out of your time. HBO has had a longer standing and stronger, is a much more popular, recognizable name than Max ever was. And that's why Netflix is killing them, is because Netflix stayed on brand. Netflix, even after they lost the Marvel contracts and had to, give up those shows to Disney, they still found their strength with Stranger Things and other original programming. And so they managed to stay within their niche. They managed to put out the program as well as maintain their identity. If Netflix had come out and said, all right, we're changing our name to FlixNet, that alone, and we're also going to go from, our colors are no longer going to be the iconic red, black, and white that you're used to. We're going to switch to blue, pink, and orange. Then we'd probably still be stuck with HBO and Max. So, we said it before. Who's ready for some copyright infringement?
Hit it.
Second, do the magical thingies. Do that there, do that. All right.
Well, while you're setting it up, I mean, look.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. All right.
I told you so. 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 Now in French, je te l'ai dit. Oui, c'est ça, je te l'ai dit. You want some German now, Denise, huh? Ich hab's gesagt. Ja, das stimmt, ich hab gesagt. I told you so.
I miss that show. The old, I told you so dance. That's what happens when you rebrand to something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kamran is now rejoining us. We're going to bring him back. Welcome back, Kamran.
I think you guys can barely see me because I'm on the sidewalk without a lot of, lights here, but hopefully you can hear me at least.
We can't
you're
hear you.
you're coming in good.
Now the glow of the screen and passing street lights has gotten you. Well, we're glad to see that you made it through.
I'm walking home. Yeah, I got away. The promenade has great places and iffy places, a lot like,
probably like
we're,
Pier 39 in San Francisco.
Exactly. So I'm walking. This is the street leading to my home. I'm just walking straight up. I'm on Ocean Avenue, which is a very blessed place. You can't really see it right now, but that's the Palisades Park, beyond which is the ocean. And so, yeah, I'm just going to walk straight
Yellow
home
Card
here.
write a song about that street.
So Cosmic Vader has just stated that in the right light, Kamran could pass for Denzel Washington. So I think you might have an admirer there, my friend.
I will take it. I won't say no to being Denzel. It's okay. It's all good. So especially Denzel in Malcolm X, which he was criminally robbed from. That was his Oscar-winning performance, and they didn't give it to him. But that's a whole other video discussion.
Yeah.
So so great. So I left. You guys might have stepped away from Stargate, but if you want me to jump back into that, is there anything still left in the article you want to talk about?
I think we touched on everything between returning cast and everything that's more or less expected that we know right now. We
did. I mean, you may have talked about when I left screen, but one of the things that sounds like it's going to happen is Jason Momoa, who was a big part of Stargate Atlantis, does want to come back, and that will obviously, he's a big movie star now. He's got a very large female fan base, right? So that'll be helpful to the show if he does.
Yeah, there's where half of that 750 million to 1 billion a season is going to be gone. But anyway, I think we pretty much hit on everything Stargate wise. Like I said, it's nice to see. This is encouraging. I don't have anything like I want to make that very clear. Like with this, we've had this stuff where we talk about Star Wars, we talk about other shows that are just like, or even Marvel stuff that's kind of going off the deep end. And, it's nice to have insider stuff that has nothing to do with ideologies going on, that it's all good news. It's all focused on the product, the lore, the established mythos, preserving what has already been established, respecting the fan base that's already been here while trying to bring a new audience. And I think that it's their ball to drop. It's their pooch to screw at this point. I
do have one piece that I think would be interesting to discuss.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, this is where we get into, Rogue Council conspiracy theory stuff. But I Kamran, you're the guy for that anyway. So hear me out.
My experience, there's no theory. There's just conspiracies.
Yeah, fair. So
that's what you learn in Hollywood. Yeah.
One of the things that comes up in the Stargate series is at one point the team is going to be on Earth for a little while because they are consulting on a TV series called Wormhole Extreme, which the U.S. government is funding and trying to keep alive to act as a cover should the Stargate project ever come out.
Oh, I see. It's sort of like it's a form of their own kind of disclosure. Soft disclosure by seeding it into the general public, sort of like making their own sliders type show of different dimensions kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Same idea. Right. Now, what I always thought interesting about that is, wouldn't that have been just a hilarious way to out yourself as a propaganda tool that got put together by a government that's trying to actually hide something similar to a Stargate style project?
Well, what I'll say is this is, from my own experience, let's just say government is very heavily involved in Hollywood. Intelligence agencies are very heavily involved in Hollywood, and they love to have a sense of humor about it. They love in jokes about their involvement. So we'll just leave it at that.
Right. I mean, fair enough. I mean, one of the ones that I always loved in Stargate was one of the characters at one point is talking about the M. Night Shyamalan movie Signs.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's talking to another character about the movie, he doesn't seem that interested. And she's like, "Why aren't you interested in this?" And he's like, "Well, given what we do for a living, this is kind of boring. And she goes, oh, come on. Aren't you curious if they're ever even close to what we're doing?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some serious self-referential component there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it becomes. We're talking about wormholes. It becomes a cyclical, staring at your belly button into eternity kind of,
Right.
right? But so it's all. So let me show you one thing.
Sure.
Staring at belly button, because there's a belly button I'd like to stare into, which is Margot Robbie's, and this
Yes.
I'm standing right now in front of the building that was the final scene in Barbie. If you watch the final scene of Barbie, which she pulls up in front of the gynecologist because now she has human genitalia, right?
Yeah.
That was filmed right here. If you watch it, it was filmed right opposite where I'm standing, and it was like where this Tesla monstrosity is.
Oh, there's a trash can there.
Where she was parked. She was parked right here, and then she went inside to the gynecologist's office. So it was right
very
here.
Very nice. Very cute.
That's awesome. Well, thank
God
you.
bless Margot Robbie Pasha.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You know what? I just send me an invite to the wedding, my friend. Send me an invite to the wedding.
Yeah, she's wife number 4. She's wife number 4.
Okay.
I can give you we have 3 more to get to her before her, so it's okay.
Fair enough.
Well, thank you very much for your time this evening, Cameron, and making it possible. It was actually a lot of fun doing the walking tour while
you can see a little bit of Santa Monica. My apologies that I came in late. My apologies, it was all done sort of a little ad hoc.
It's all good.
I hope your audience will enjoy some of the commentary we had, and I look forward to coming back again, hopefully with some more updates and things.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always welcome here, and we definitely want to try and check in with you at least once a month, hopefully, but we'll just make that happen as it happens. So.
All right. Well, you're still going, right? So everyone should stick around and keep watching and hit that like button.
Another 30 minutes. Yes, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and continue to live long and prosper, Cameron.
All right, we'll talk soon. God bless, guys.
Take care, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Always, just honestly, we could talk about like coffee or burgers or something. It's just fun to have Cameron on the show.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was. I didn't realize it, but like the insider stuff we're talking about, like this is mostly this is all positive stuff. This is all good signs. It's a little envious as a Star Wars, Star Trek diehard fan that the Stargate fans are going to get the well-deserved Fallout treatment, but it's also nice to kind of come into it and be a part of it that way, and just be able to get excited for something that has been established for a while, and I think we'll probably continue to stay relevant even longer.
I think Stargate has taken its place as the third Star franchise, if you will, right?
It's probably going to be taking the lead now. I mean, we're still waiting. So, I mean, Star Trek is a freaking mess right now still. The Kelvin timeline's officially over, which we haven't even said anything about that on any of our shows yet. And the shows we got, now that it sounds like the new movie is going to be a new era and getting rid of this Kurtzman era shit, I'm all the more excited to watch Starfleet Academy and just watch it go down. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but
honestly, I think Starfleet Academy could have worked if instead of having a set narrative, we got a couple of different timelines or something like that. Like we were revisiting some of the characters in their younger years.
Yeah.
Right. Or if we had to go into a timeline, we didn't go so far into the future that we have no connection to it anymore.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the smart thing would be to have the Guardian of Forever, make an appearance and then basically explain how Star Trek Multiverse works. And, we close loop the Roddenberry timeline with the most of the Next Generation crew getting killed on Viridian 3. And whatever else we decide from that moment can just be any kind of thing that we do. I mean, I would like to see...
what you could do, instead of using the Guardian of Forever, you could use Cisco. He exists outside of time right now.
That's true. We could have Avery Brooks make his triumphant return. All right, we got our last news piece of the day. That's going to be Jurassic World Chaos Theory boss on finale that near death and potential series set before rebirth. When Jurassic World Chaos Theory executive producer and co-showrunner Scott Kramer was first approached about doing a follow-up series to DreamWorks Animation Television's successful Camp Cretaceous, his initial instinct Cretaceous, thank you. His initial instinct was to pass. I was pretty exhausted, and Aaron and I both said that was a lot of fun, but let's move on. Kramer recalls of the show's fourth and final season. Our executive, Maria Krenis, has quoted me saying, well, good luck with whatever schmuck you find to run that thing. As Kramer remembers it, there weren't even dailies for Jurassic World Dominion to help paint a picture for Chaos Theory's timeline, locations, and events. Still, he agreed to hear Universal's pitch. With two people from the studio over Zoom using photos and key art to set the stage, key art, I mean they use AI art, set the stage for then upcoming installment, it would be enough to spark something for Kramer. They said the Department of Fish and Wildlife was in charge of rounding up the dinosaurs in America, and I just started thinking as your mind wanders in one of those giant Zooms. The showrunner recalls Maria, who was on the Zoom, texted me and said, you have an idea, I can see it on your face. That seed would birth Chaos Theory, initially a 16 to 20 episode pitch that became a 39 episode all-ages animated conspiracy thriller set 5 years after Camp Cretaceous. Cretaceous. Anyway, the show's journey culminates with the final 9 episodes streaming today on Netflix. Well, I didn't even hear this. And serves as a milestone virtually unheard of in modern TV. Across 2 series and upwards of 90 episodes, Kramer and his team have been able to give the Nublar 6, a group of teens who survived Jurassic World's 2015 Isla Nublar incident and the 2016 Manta Corp incident, a sweeping coming-of-age arc. What? What the hell? When was this? Where was this?
Okay, so there was a Netflix focused more on like a quasi kids show called Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous, which focused on these kids that were involved in the events of the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park situations that happened. And now they're moving on to potentially a more grown-up version of this that enables everyone to be more interested instead of just it's a kid show of an adult property, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that could be pretty good. Cosmo Vader said, I've always found it funny that species shown in Jurassic Park were actually from the Cretaceous.
Yeah. I Cosmic, I'm right there with you, man. That being said, I did like one of the things in Jurassic World that they made very, very clear that when they brought in the original doctor who was part of the bringing these dinosaurs back from the dead, kind of went, this isn't actually what these creatures looked like. It's what we interpreted them to look like. So we made them look like that so that people would come to the park.
Yeah.
Right. And I was kind of sitting there going like, that is a really good in-universe explanation of one of the major flaws of this was. And I'm sitting there going like, so yeah, they can call it Jurassic Park, even though a lot of these creatures were from the Cretaceous, even though none of these creatures would have looked like that in the Cretaceous. So it kind of worked out really well. Like realistically, most of the dinosaurs would have looked like really angry up-jumped turkeys that never lost their anger, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool that they almost play with that a little bit.
Yeah. Cosmic Vader says there are videos on YouTube with a modified CGI to make the dinosaurs look more like they did in real life.
Oh, that'd be cool. I got to check that out.
Well, what I find funny though too is like, you know, when Jurassic Park came out, it was, you know, big and innovative and so just amazing things, which is all true. I'm not saying that it's not.
Yeah. Yep.
Soundtrack is incredible. Some of the best work that John Williams has ever done. It's one of Spielberg's greatest movies. Absolutely a classic. The one thing, though, that since has come out from the 90s is that, well, during the dinosaur times, the air may have been just a little bit thicker. And so, by a little, I mean considerably a lot. As such, that's why the dinosaurs were able to grow such large sizes, is because, you know, they had so much more fauna, so much more floral, so much more so much more food to eat, basically, and more air to breathe.
Yeah.
If they had somehow managed to do this crazy thing where they got a mosquito, fossilized mosquitoes, DNA from the dinosaurs, reclone them, they would have come out like house pets. They wouldn't have, their bodies' metabolism wouldn't have the proper nutrient or the proper oxygen input to continue to grow their bodies to be such a big size. They would have actually probably been smaller in the end. Or if they were big, they would have suffocated and died. They wouldn't have been able to breathe the thinner air. So yeah, it's funny to make those kind of references, look back and go, well, it's like watching Back to the Future before you study primeline theory and realize that even if time travel's real, none of us are ever going to know. So, unless it just happens to you.
M theory does really play with a lot of weirdness, right?
Yeah. Yeah, prime timeline theory basically states that, well, even if you do discover time travel and you go back and change something, you're the only one who's going to notice. You're in a different reality by yourself, not, you know, or with anybody else you bring, not suddenly like everybody, it just switches and everybody knows who you are. It's actually, they kind of get the idea right. They just kind of get to it incorrectly. Like when Marty goes back in time and destroys the tree, and it becomes the Lone Pine Mall afterwards. That's a little bit of exaggeration, but him waking up to, you know, a nicer house and whatnot and all that. Yes, he's in a different, but he's there by himself. His family in the other shit 1980, well, not as shitty 1984, but the other 1984 is still there. Just now he's gone.
Yeah.
1955 Hill Valley. Yeah. Or rewatching Back to the Future and realize that Hill Valley was a segregated town. Oh, jeez.
Well, do you guys really want to blow your mind?
Why not?
All right. Do you realize we are in a position now where if Marty was going back the same number of years in time, he'd be going back to the year 2000?
Yeah.
Right. The distant past of 2005?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you actually look at the screen, you can see P.D. York aging in real time upon hearing that.
Yeah, no, that's I ain't giving up the game till I get to like $1.50. Who the hell is Barack
Cosmic
Obama
Vader
would be the line of dialogue. Yeah.
No. Donald Trump, the reality TV host?
Who's president in 2025? Donald Trump. That asshole on The Apprentice? Oh, man. Yes, that asshole on The Apprentice is president of the United States. Anyway. Thanks for joining us on another exciting episode. We're going to go ahead and just kind of close things. Unless you got any other surprise news to dive into, I think we've covered.
I think we're good.
Most of the story. Cosmic Vader says, "Oh, I've seen this one. It's a classic. What do you mean it's brand new? I saw it on streaming. What's streaming? Yep, exactly.
Yep.
What is? Hold on. Why did the show stop? And why is there something trying to make me hungry? Anyway, ads will be a foreign concept to. Oh, let's get one. Speaking of assholes, let's get one thing perfectly clear. They're not Gen Alpha. Okay? The generation after the Zoomers is AA. You know what that means? Double asshole. That's what that generation is. Anyway. Donald Trump, the real estate mogul? Who's the VP? Oprah Winfrey?
Yeah, perfect.
That would be close. I mean, almost. It almost was Oprah. Oprah Winfrey, I think is what you meant. But yeah.
Yeah.
It very well could have been. Yeah. Thanks to everyone, Cosmic Vader, and everyone who tuned in. Whether you live, whether you watch this on the replay, we appreciate. Please continue to... That's the wrong song.
Please continue to be completely...
Please continue to like, share,
awesome.
subscribe, get the word out there. We would have grown. We would have turned this into a 5 million sub operation, but in order to do that, we need your guys' continued support. We will be back. Our next scheduled broadcast is December 2nd. Please don't forget to keep an eye out on the shorts. We will always be there with the 3-minute version. And, yeah, hopefully we can get Kamran on soon. I'm P.D. York, Writer Brothers. We'll see you when we see you. This has been a special Sunday presentation of the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast from the Writer Brothers. The Writer Brothers. Have a great week, everybody.